Welcome back, MTG Joe here, and we're here with one of these staples of the channel, budget decks for Arena. Again, just to preface, these are Arena budget decks, they're not paper budget decks, so some of the card choices are pricey in paper, but in Arena, a Mythic Wildcard or a Rare Wildcard cost the same as any other Mythic or Rare. So I had started building Mono Black aggro, like a Nabosh build that you're seeing going around, but there's certain cards that you need from a Rare standpoint to really give the deck gas. Just stuff like Castle Lochwain, which in a budget deck you don't really want to play. You have like a Rotting Regisar, you have the Menace Nightmare guy, you have Knight of Eben Legion. There's a lot of cards that make the deck a little pricey. So the budget version I was not thoroughly impressed with. But a deck that I was playing around with is pretty fun and can lead to a couple different builds. Is a green-black Golgari Graveyard, Reanimator, Bloodhulk kind of deck. So we've played some variations of this in the past, but there's some new cards that came out that really kind of accelerate this deck's archetype. So basically what we're trying to do is self-mill ourselves to put creatures into the graveyard. And then from there, what we want to do is use Blood for Bones to sacrifice a small creature and in turn get a Lotleth Giant into the battlefield, which deals a point of damage to each opponent or to target opponent for the number of creatures in our graveyard. So it's kind of a burn spell in a way. You can also sack Lotleth Giant to get back Lotleth Giant. You also get another creature to your hand. When we are filling a graveyard, the Hulk part of Bloodhulk is Molderhulk, which costs 1 less for each creature in your graveyard. So effectively it can cost green-black for a 6/6, and then it returns a land from your graveyard. So it's a way to ramp in the deck as well. So the additions of the cards we got from the new format are Fiend Artisan. So this basically's power and toughness is equal to the number of creatures in your graveyard plus 1. And then you can sacrifice and pay X to tap. So sack another creature, pay X, and basically Birthing Pod for any creature in your deck. So you can, if you flood out or late game, you can go find your Lotleth Giant or any other card. So it's a way to kind of get ahead on ramp. There's also Skull Prophet, which serves 2 angles for the deck. It is another way to put cards into your graveyard, but it's also a mana ramp. So both work well in the deck. We're putting cards into the graveyard with Mire Triton and Glowspore Shaman primarily. And then we also have Acolyte of Affliction that mills and then gets a permanent back to our hand. Woe Strider protects us from exile and can also kind of fix our draws, stuff like that. And then this can get really big, but it doesn't have evasion. So kind of a trick that we can do is Titanoth Rex, Godzilla Primal Champion, can cycle and put a trample counter on a creature we control. So this is a way early that we can just get another creature into the graveyard. Late game, it's also an 11/11 Trampler that can be reanimated. So it's some cool strategies there. So in total, the deck is 4 mythics here, and then 7 rares, just for the mana base. Some cards you might want to consider if you have them are things like 4 mana Vraska, very good in these style of strategies. Castle Lochwain, also just to get you ahead. Pretty much it. Obviously, if you have more mana colors, if you can go white, there's a lot of good reanimation spells in white. Sultai adding blue also gives you some advantage in terms of self-mill options. Sideboard wise, completely uncommons and commons, but basically Cling to Dust versus opponent's graveyard decks, Disfigure versus aggro, Agonizing Remorse versus the slower decks, Heartless Act versus creatures, Plaguecrafter versus like the Yorion builds with just like a Teferi or a Narset. You can take off their planeswalkers, and then Thrashing Brontodon for anything sort of graveyard hate. There is a lot of it in the format, so this is a little bit of a risky archetype to be playing right now. But high reward for high risk. So with like all these budget decks, we'll play through a couple rounds. It's early in the season, so I'm still trying to get my rank up. So we're just going to play the unranked ladder, see how the deck kind of works out. Was playing a couple games yesterday. You can get a lot of value out of the deck, but sometimes you just mill over all your lands. So a little risky. So Yorion here. I'm not crazy about this hand, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand's a bit better. Put away Swamp. Gate on 1's fine. I can use Skull Prophet to start milling myself. So obviously this is a little worse if they just go to Fairy here. So this is the Jeskai Luca version most likely. They play Ketria Triome for the blue Mythos, the copy and fight. Okay. So Agonizing Remorse in, and then Plague Crafter. Brontodon's... Don't understand. You're bringing a tier 1 deck, arguably the best deck in the format, and you concede the whole match to turn 2 mana ramp. The only downside of not playing ladder. So we'll fire up another one. Hopefully we get a little bit more engagement by the opponent this game. So that next turn what we would have done was probably Fiend Artisan down. Or actually we probably would have gone Woe Strider because it can protect around a Teferi bounce. So really what you want is a turn 2 Mire Triton or Glowspore Shaman. That usually can get your graveyard strategy going. Another card we've played in the past is Gorging Vulture, the 3 mana 2/2 you mill over and gain life for each creature you put into the graveyard that turn. What the hell's happening? Okay, I'm going to give Arena a reset after this, because it is being glitchy. Okay, let me give Arena a reset. We'll take our 2 wins. Not sure if we're just getting opponents not wanting to play us or life coming up for them. So there's a couple decks I want to try out. I'm going to be qualifying for the MCQ tournament in a couple of days, the pre-qualifier for finishing top 1200. So starting with Jeskai Luca, I'm liking that deck quite a bit. But there's also Winota I want to try. Ideally want to play a deck that doesn't take so long and can close out games pretty quick. Like an Historic Gruul aggro just wins games on turn 4. So I'm going to probably try out the Winota deck, and if not, this hand is gas. So if we draw land, I think we still go Skull Prophet first before Glowspore, just because then if we draw a 4th land, we can play 2 spells out. Hey, AK Mage, how's it going? So both of these are terrible blockers against a 1/1, but they may be inclined to keep it back. Yeah, it's actually, today is the warmest day of the year thus far. It is going to be 22 Celsius. I built my barbecue yesterday and gonna get that started. I think we just go have this enter tapped, just play Glowspore this turn. How's everything going on your end? I'm gonna decline the land. So we got a couple creatures in the graveyard. So I'm doing this so this gets out of a Bone Crusher range. No blocks here. And then what I can do is Fiend Artisan and play out the Skull Prophet. So I can probably double block here. That puts 2 more creatures in the graveyard for this Molderhulk. This looks probably Gruul Adventures, so we do need to be mindful later game of something like an Embercleave. I got the barbecue as a Christmas gift 2 years ago, And then last summer I was supposed to like put a patio in my backyard. It's just like a patch of grass that's really uneven. And then it just never worked out time-wise. And then this year I was like, I'm definitely going to do it. And then Corona came, and then I don't have a contractor that will be willing to come out. Okay, so that's actually pretty solid in a turn or so. So I can escape this back. I think we just go Molderhulk here. So of note, the land comes into play untapped. Do I want to attack in? I think we do. If they want to trade their board, they can. So I'm going to have like 2 patio stones that I have to balance my barbecue on. Try to get that going. What are you playing on the ladder, AK? So next turn what we're going to do... I want to get like a cheap creature so I can start blood for boning. Or we might just escape this Woe Strider. It's actually not worth it to escape it. Takes out all our graveyard stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. If we draw a land, what I can do is I can sack this Molderhulk. So we are playing adventures. So we gotta watch out for Brazen Borrower now. I hate playing against this deck. Any sort of like slow mid-range deck just kind of gets thrumped. Okay, we got Godzilla, so that's something we could bring back. So depending how they block, so what I can do is Godzilla cycle, put a trample counter on it, and then Blood for Bones Molderhulk. I'm gonna bring back Glowspore Shaman to the graveyard and Molderhulk to hand. Decline, and then next turn I get to play this out for 2 mana. Now I have an 8/8 Trampler that's I'm very excited for to be bounced by Brazen Borrower. But we also just need any Titan or any Giant. We have 4 Lotleth Giant, 10% chance with the cards in our deck to draw it. Probably just Heartless Axe coming in from the side. I don't think we want Disfigure. It doesn't hit enough of the deck. Okay. Well, they have an 8/8. I have an 8/8. Could make this a 9/9. Oh, you're not that good. Oh, they're just dead, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I'm a mana short. Damn it. Next turn. Next turn. So for this turn, I think what we do is we just set up 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can pay 5, sack this. I think what we do, I might just get a second Fiend Artisan, to be honest. But they bounce both with thing anyways. So then what we'll do... Probably could have played this better if I was going to take the Fiend Artisan. We have a land, so just get another Molderhulk. Because what I could have done is I could have got the Cycler again to cycle a card back to my hand. If they don't have the bounce this turn, I sack something and go get Hulk or a Giant, and then they're dead. They here. They get 2 cracks with 4 mana. They could get Aether Gust. Go Escape the Wilds. Do they have a land? They might just be digging, and then once in future, get something back. Okay, so they shock. %chance of drawing Giant. Untapped GG is awesome. Okay, they're dead. They are dead Zos. Oh, maybe not. If they get blue, they can have Brazen Borer. One mana draw 2. Seems cool. So, just to double check, Giant costs 7 mana. And boom. That's where Fiend Artisan, like when we're not drawing them, comes in handy. So in this matchup, probably the Brontodons and the Heartless Acts coming out. Woe Strider is not that good. Acolyte's fine. Still think we want the Blood for Bones. The Trample could be relevant, but probably not. Molderhulk's fine. Let's get rid of Rex, and we're going to have to win through Lotleth, most likely, in this matchup. Just cut down one Brontodon. Now that they kind of know our game plan, they'll probably just get, like... This hand's good. We want to avoid the Grafdigger's Cage. The nice thing, if they just cage, we're not as impacted as something like Ashiok or whatchamacallit. Leyline. The exile is going to be worse for us. They're off blue mana, which I'm fine with. Like, I don't care if my things die. It's just more annoying when they get bounced. I'm going to wait till this is big enough to survive stomps. Yeah, that's all you have to do when you're playing Teamer, right? Just draw both your key cards, and now we're gonna get what's the giant that ramps you? Ah, they didn't get the giant that ramps them. Well, I still have a 5/5. I'm actually this turn gonna go Acolyte. We have 6 cards in graveyard, so I'm actually gonna take the Molderhulk. I'm gonna block this turn, that puts another one, and then I'll have 5 mana to play both of these next turn. I feel like Ketria Trinome definitely helps this deck a lot. Just smoothing out the mana, and then late game you can just cycle it. I will block opponent. This also ramps us, so we're at 6 cards for the giant right now. Just play the tap land. Could have tried to get cute with Glowspore and then try to play everything out, but if we had to hit a creature there to make it cost 2. 6 lands, so I can go Glowspore and Acolyte next turn. So they might have Stomp here. I actually should have blocked the other way, because then Stomp would have had to deal 2 to this. Like 2 triggers to it. Oh, because it resolved, their sequencing was off. It keeps 1 point of power. They should have done the 2. First Fiend Artisan. Okay, so I still have an 8/8. And I can just go Acolyte, get back Molderhulk. Oh no, it makes it more expensive. Decline, we don't want any more lands. Just force through get rid of some of their blockers. I will throw blockers in the way of Bone Crusher. Okay, well, this coming into play taps good based on the fact that it just drew like 12 clovers. No extra land works out. Oh, no, they got the land. So we're getting clovered to hell next turn. We draw a land, I might just do Sacrificial to get a Lotleth Giant. Just throw some damage on them. Okay, well, we can just go Running Giants. Let's get some more stuff into our graveyard. One, two, three, four, five, 6. So I can do it for 5. What do we want? I could do Brontodon. 1, 1, 2, 3, and then sack the Brontodon to blow up a clover. And then that takes that out. Makes this 10 power. And then we're getting closer to being able to just... Now we can pretty much just 2-turn them. Doesn't matter really what they do with our board. Yeah, 8 mana. And that's why I like Molderhulk. It just gets us ahead on lands. Like they can Fae for 2 things. This gets around Aether Gust, so unless they have like Essence Capture. For those tuning in, I don't care about Cage. Oh no, but it does shut off my Fiend Artisan. Good to know. For those tuning in, we are playing an arena budget deck. So it is 4 mythics for Fiend Artisan, 3 rares in Woe Strider, and 4 Overgrown Tombs. The rest of the deck is all commons and uncommons. The main course of winning the game is through Fiend Artisan beats, or the use of like Molderhulk for 2 mana, or searching up Lotleth Giants. We do play Blood for Bones, which is a way to get creatures back. Okay, so they got Disdainful Stroke. So we are going to have to force through. So they at least have an answer for our first giant. Oh no, they didn't. They did not respect. They did not respect the fact we have 2 in hand. And then this is a 6/5 on its own. Hit him for 9. Probably should, we could have attacked with this, see if they chumped it. Mind you, they could have just chumped it with Fae. Kind of want it to die. So we'll see if they hold up the other Disdainful Stroke. Best card to draw right now would be Brontodon. 3% chance. Blood for Bones does not work. Neither does Fiend Artisan Search. And we did board out the Godzilla that cycles for trample, so we can't juke them that way. This is also a 13/13, so bigger than us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can Fae and hold up Disdainful Stroke. Let's see if they get greedy again. We have 2 giants left in our deck. That's actually annoying, because they can Disdainful Stroke and get it back. And then this will give that lifelink. And they have the Fling. They do need to block everything. So we'll get through 2 points of damage at least. They got greedy. They put all that effort to get Disdainful Stroke and then just didn't hold up the mana for Disdainful Stroke 2 turns in a row. Like, the only thing they lose to there is thing. I'm gonna give Arena a quick reset. For those of you who just joined, when we kicked off the stream, we had an opponent auto quit after turn 2, and then had Arena load a game immediately go to sideboard and then show us a victory, which we'll take the victories, but a little bit odd. Let's go one more with this traditional standard play. So there's some nice options you can add in, like I was saying on the start. If you go Abzan, there's the Ultimatum, there's Nethroi, that work really well in these types of decks. Even the Mythos is a really good flexible removal spell. Stuff like playing Night of Autumn as well, so you could get some more enter the battlefield style effects. If you go Sultai, you have Merfolk Secret Keeper to self-mill you. You have the 3 mana when it enters the battlefield, draw a discard. I forget its name. With Death Touch, Lifelink. That one's pretty good. Keep. Opponent is on Lurrus. So Lurrus can be a whole bunch of decks now. You can have cycling, you can have Jeskai kind of hero style, you can have red-black, you can have black-white. Okay, so white can still be cycling. Yeah, it's a cycling deck. Do you know what's really good against the big fox? They might have just kept one land. So this is the deck I made top 1200 with last month. It is a very... I don't like the Jeskai version. The Jeskai version does an unnecessary amount of self-inflicted harm. Okay, so this is a 2/2. The one card you usually want... Well, even it's not that good in this matchup, is the fight card, because it doesn't deal damage. So they'll probably want to set up a turn where they have another creature and then the fight. Second Fox is actually pretty good. So we're just going to take the block here. The Death Touch, a useful card. We'll get it back with the Acolyte. Life total is a consideration in this matchup. As always, Zenith Flare can hit for a lot of damage. So I opted to go with Woe Strider here. This can help me find my 4th land. It gives me a free block as well. They also don't have a second white, so you're less consistent on being able to hit your Lurrus as well. These being able to cast is the only benefit I've found. So I've tried in my deck to add 2 blue sources. Dranith Stinger. That's a good one. So take the free block here. Just looking for an untapped land. Nope. So Fiendy it is. I'm probably going to double block here. We'll see what they get. They have 2 cards in hand. One's Likeliest. Okay, so that's 4. So we get punished if they have 2 cyclers in hand. Nah, probably just throw Woe Strider in front. Makes this 4 power, then I drop another Fiend Artisan. I would like to get the Mire Triton back. That's fine. This holds it back from attacking this turn. Perfect. So gonna get back Mire Triton. Mire Triton is a good blocker against these foxes. Just throw this in front, throw this in front here. They're gonna have to do 2 cycles to keep this alive. And then next turn I can double these up. This will become 5 power, if not bigger with the Mire Triton flip. They are Zenith Flaring for 6. I'm going to keep the land on top. I want to be able to hit these eventually. And next turn we're playing out 2 mana spells. You know what, I'm going to change the Clink to Dust after this to Ashiok. It's better in this matchup and we can self-mill ourselves as well. Because Clink to Dust is only going to hit 1 card at a time, which isn't very useful for us. So we will have Molderhulk next turn. So I usually play Cage in my decks. It's a good card to have, even though it shuts off Lurrus. Any sort of graveyard strategy usually kind of beats you. Let's see what they do here. Okay, so we drew another land. Just double Molderhulk. How about 2 6/6s? So next turn, what can I do? This deck really misses something like Ravenous Chupacabra. That would be very good, like an ETB, kill a specific creature. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably just go Lotleth Giant. Wow, they took the trade there? Okay, so if we could avoid Zenith Flare. So if we avoid the Zenith Flare, I can sack something, go get another Lotleth Giant. And they're dead? No, they're not quite dead. 1, 2, is it just... We have 7 for Undergrowth. They probably have the Flare, to be honest, because they cycled before playing out a Fox. They don't. Or they might have Flare trying to draw into land to kill us in one shot. Nope, just Titanoth Healer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hoi. They let any of this damage through. So we're dead to Zenith Flare. Like, we were dead to Zenith Flare anyways, so just play that they maybe they don't block properly. But if they have the Flare, we're dead. Yep, they have the Flare. So that's an example of playing to win versus just playing to stay alive. So in this matchup, Heartless Axe and probably the Disfigures. And just call it like that. Woe Strider's Fine, not great to be honest. 2 cards to cut. We need Glowspore just to kind of get going. And the trample's relevant here. Get rid of a couple Skull Prophets. Not as concerned. Yeah, like, I think we played as well as we could against that. They had 14, even with the 3 creatures that died, they still had 11. And if we didn't, then they would be able to cycle. This hand's not great. I shouldn't have kept this hand. This hand's actually very bad. I got seduced by the Disfigure, the wolf, the fox on 1. Because we're nowhere near casting these, and Acolyte has nothing to get back. Mire Triton. Okay, Heartless Act is good. Okay, so thankfully opponent's got a slower start this game. We don't have to deal with like double Fox. Might just go value Acolyte. Just start putting some pressure on them. They have no white for Lurrus. Actually, that's great. That lets us hold up Heartless Act as well. And I will take the Mire Triton. Do I want the land? What's our next turn look like? Yeah, we probably want it. Because next turn we're going to get a Mire Triton back and from Acolyte, so we're already committed to paying 4 mana if we can get these going. We maybe should have done Brontodon. Usually the Jeskai does play the 2 mana whenever you draw your second card for the turn enchantment, you get a 1/1 fairy. We didn't see it out of them game 1. Okay, so they hit their white source. Not for nothing, they are at 14 and we have 3 power in play. Oh. Do we get Fiend Artisan? Yeah, we do. We do. Okay. So the Scorching Dragonfire is a little annoying. This is only 3, so if they have... Okay. That seems kind of loose, to be honest. Like, you know we have a Fiend Artisan coming down unless you have another piece of removal. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. So pretty much everything's a good draw except a Guildgate. Titanoth Stinger. So I'm going to force them to make the decision if they want to cycle here. You know, I maybe should have waited, because I could have Heartless Act my own Fiend Artisan in case they had Exile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So not the biggest Lotleth here. But they need Zenith Flare or they're dead. We attack in and then Giant them again. Okay, so they hit us for 12. We get them for 9 here. Again, just very weird why you don't cycle before. No flare, no flare, no flare, no flare, no flare, no flare. Flare? Well, you're not going to beat double flare. Let's make that change to the sideboard. And you know what? I actually think I may like it in the main board. No, let's bring it sideboard. Ashiok's good. So you mill yourself 4 and then exile their graveyard. You just give Arena a quick reset and we'll fire up one more. Arena's been a bit particular today. Ever since Ikoria, it's been a little laggy and glitchy. Yesterday I had a game where the client crashed on me in the middle of sideboarding. I didn't get to sideboard, so I won game 1, couldn't sideboard. So played the game, lost, had to go sideboard for game 3, but I was playing a companion deck and it switched it to as though I was playing Brawl and it wouldn't let me see any of my main deck and the only option was to concede, which was very annoying because it was a ranked match. Has anyone in chat played a lot of Winota and have a preferred 75 they could send over? Want to play around with that next? Played a 4-color non-blue variant against one today. That was kind of cool. No. Also no. Can't even say this is budget mana base, just awkward. Let's get rid of Giant and do that. Not thrilled of a naked Fiend Artisan. Okay, well. They're playing main board Graveyard Hate. I'm not even going to show them what we're playing. Game 1. We're pretty far behind, like in that game. So they're a Lurrus deck, so let's bring in the Ashioks. I don't like Brontodon that much, or maybe we play Brontodon. Let's get rid of Woe Strider. Let's play the Brontodons. Skull Prophet's not that good in this matchup. The Rex is good. Molderhulk gets chumped a bit, so maybe just cut 2 of those. Glowspore's fine. Fiend Artisan could help us find our stuff. I still want the Graveyard Enablers. Shave down a Blood for Bones. Actually, let's just keep the Blood for Bones. Run it like that. Oh, shit. 61. Well, we're playing 61 cards. So that game there, like, we could have played it out, but I had a Fiend Artisan that had 1 power. That would have just had all my graveyard stuff be exiled. What are these hands? Okay. We'll keep this hand. Two-drop. Give me a 2-drop. Glowspore Shaman. Mire Triton. Give me 1. Not going to be particular. It's a 2-drop. So this is the Croxa variant. And they have the oven. Just hold up blockers here. I probably should have shocked, milled myself, exiled their graveyard. But what I want to do is perhaps force the sack. That plays so much worse. That hurts so much more. Because now they get 2 food tokens, so they have 2 instances, and now, yeah. Alright. That one hurt. We played really well the first couple games. That's just like Scorpion into Cat Oven into Claim Priest. Like, I don't even care about Croxa. I wanted to put the big giant in the graveyard. And that's where it's a little tough with these Cat Oven decks. Like, we can make a lot of big creatures, but the fact they can easily chump. Okay, so not a terrible hand. The nice interaction is mono red. What you can do is cycle and then get it back to your hand and then cycle it again. Mono red's an iffy matchup. Our 3/1s that we have don't particularly line up well. Okay, misaligned, misaligned, misaligned. Nah, of course not. Here's another 1-drop. That's actually very good. Creature, creature. Creature, creature. Gonna take the trade here, makes this 2 power. I just need to chump the early turns. My guess is this turns they're gonna Rimrock and then play out Rimrock. The fact they flipped a Torbrand without being able to cast it bodes well. Okay, so they have a 3/1 now. Here's my 3/3. I might just take the hit this turn. They can't Ember Cleave me. Oh no, we are not taking the hit this turn. Let's get the Fiend Artisan back to hand. I can cycle and Fiend Artisan next turn. Super excited to get cleaved here. Ooh, they don't have it. Let's go Glowspore Shaman first. Do we want to land is the question. Probably not. I think we just need creatures at this point. So this is 7. So I'm going to block here. This does 2+ more. So block here. Let's see if they attack with Torbrand. If the attack's just this, I'm going to block as such. Super dead to cleave regardless. So just pump. Stomp. Last card in hand. Okay, that feels pretty solid. Blood for Bones, which doesn't feel great here. I could try to cycle for a land, but I think we just go Woe Strider. And pass the turn. So they can pump up here. Do they have the Embercleave? They do. So let's scry here. Mire Triton gains us life, which I don't mind. We are pretty dead still. Oh, they just Embercleave on top. Yeah. That's 7. So they play 3. That makes it 3 power. That's 6. Block one of those. Yeah. They got Robber too. Well, does Robber do it? That's 6. Yeah. Mono red doesn't really allow you to stumble on lands. That's fine. We bring in Disfigures, we bring in Heartless Acts, we bring in Brontodons. Cut the Skull Prophets. Cut Godzilla. Probably. I'm going to trim the Blood for Bones. In this matchup, we're probably going to have to trade our creatures off. So that game we saw, we had Blood for Bones stuck in our hand. And I feel like either we're going to win by a mile or our opponent will win by a mile. That game, like, we didn't even get an attack in. Haven't seen much mono red. I need a good cleave deck. There hasn't been as many like gotcha plays. Historic being fully supported in May will be good. Full rank. Last month I got to Mythic in 5 days with Gruul. Just playing like casually. Whereas this month, not thrilled with any of the decks to be honest. I like Jeskai Control, but it's not doing too well. Switch to Jeskai Luca. Got whatchamacallit, Ulamog will probably be something I'm gonna try to jam in as many decks as possible. Keep this hand. Triton on 1, Brontodon on, sorry. Go 2, 3, potentially 4. Hold this for later. That's actually very good against Mire Triton. Gonna go Glowspore. That was actually a great flip. So I'm going Glowspore here because I'm happier for this to die than this. This is a better blocker later game. I brought in lava coils, so it's good to know. Also, them wasting a coil right there feels good. If they have something like Rimrock, they can hit us with that. Just another lava coil. Our opponents have had some good draws. Double Knight, double lava coil opener. Like, our hand was decent, but hard to beat that. So I'm doing this first. What did we hit? The land we wanted. This being a 4/4 is relevant. If they have the pump, they pump. They might have Embercleave here. Yo dog, I heard you like only exiling removal. This is safer to play around an Embercleave. You fucking kidding me? What are these draws? Alright, I've had enough magic for today. Here's 2 aggressive 1-drops that pump each other, another one that steals cards, 3 exile removals, and a Lord Anthem. GG. Alright, I'm going to wrap this one up. This deck was pretty sweet. I did like a lot of what it was doing. These Acolytes were a lot better than I thought they'd be. So, something to try out. Honestly, the Woe Striders can probably come out. They felt weird. I probably would even just cut them, fix the mana base up more, or play... I'd probably play Vraska. Play some Queen Golgari for card advantage. Probably do... And then Gorging Vulture. I can't spell. Vulture. Maybe something like that. Just more ways to get in the graveyard. Yeah, it's better in like the black-white version. But even like these games that we played, we didn't really have an opportunity to get much advantage going. I'd probably configure it like that. Vraska's really good in the deck, dealing with like your 3-mana walkers, anything like that. Upticking to sack these small things, fills your graveyard, gets you going that way. Could also go in the route of cutting this and this, or cutting like these. I kind of like this as a threat to get. You can play a Lurrus in here as well, perhaps. You can do it something like that. I think this is a better configuration. You could probably shave around these numbers, get rid of a Blood for Bones, play a second Lurrus. There's some ways to go. I like this. This was very impressive in the games. This was good. These were very good. This was fine. I didn't like the Woe Striders, but we can go from there. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Might be back later today, play some more ranked. Forget what I'm at. Plat tier 2. If not, catch you tomorrow. Gonna go try to figure out my barbecue. And have a good one. Stay safe out there. And thanks for stopping by.